Hello and welcome to day 8 of our 8 days of arm balance journey, our final day here together. I'm so excited that you have been here with me through all 8 days, and I'm really excited for this practice today to wrap everything up. So we are doing a journey to handstand together today. Now I want to make it really clear right off the bat that we will not be going into the full expression of handstand, but we're instead going to really focus on building our foundations, building our confidence, specifically in our L stand, which is basically halfway to our handstand. So from what we do here today, you'll have really strong foundations to keep building up your stability, your stamina, to eventually get yourself to that full handstand if that's something you want to do. So this practice today is going to use all of our props. So I have my blanket with me, I have my blocks, I have my yoga strap, which already has a little loop in it. If you don't have a strap, you can use a belt just the same way. And then our final prop for today is going to be the wall. So that's going to be a huge help as we find that L stand and start to get a little bit more confident balancing on our hands. All right, so once you have everything gathered, you're ready to go. Let's get started in a nice comfy seat. So finding your comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you today. Rooting down through your sits bones, lifting up tall, stacking each vertebrae. And then relaxing your arms, relaxing your eyelids closed. Softening the muscles of your face as you breathe in through your nose. And breathe out through your nose. Tuning into the flow of your breath here. Inhale. And exhale. With each round of breath, really tuning into your body. Noticing how you feel as you sit here on your mat in your space. Notice that with your breath, there's no forcing, there's no controlling. And the same goes for your body here today. There's no need to force, to push, to control. But instead you can work with your breath, with your body, to find a practice that is both challenging and nourishing in equal measure. Let's give ourselves a few more moments to really arrive here today, following the breath, listening to your body, and letting yourself be really present for this time on your mat today. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to be. You get to just be here, right now, with yourself. And all together, let's take a breath in through the nose. On your exhale, open your mouth, sigh it out. Beautiful. Maybe your eyes remain closed here, or you can flutter them open. We'll start to add a little gentle movement with our breath. So bringing your awareness all the way down into your hips, into your pelvis. We're going to start to tilt the pelvis, sticking your booty out behind you, and then swinging your hips to the side, curling your tailbone under. And then swinging your hips to the other side, sticking the booty out. Swinging to the other side and curling under. So we're making these nice circles through the pelvis, really feeling the movement of the sits bones on the earth. And you can keep this nice and small, just starting to feel that movement through the root of the body, keeping your breath smooth and steady as you move. Beautiful. Now when you're ready, you're going to start to make that movement a little bit bigger, bringing some more up into the rib cage, maybe even moving through the head and shoulders a little bit here. Starting to make these circles a little bit bigger, a little bit more dramatic as we start to draw energy up the length of the spine. So really moving this prana, this life force energy around so we can really kind of vitalize the body here. So we're not just warming up the physical body in the sense of getting our muscles ready to go, but we're also getting our energy really pumped up here. Awesome. Please switch directions when you're ready to do so. Starting again with those circles down in the pelvis, feeling that rotation, that kind of rocking around on the earth. And then when the time feels right for you, if you choose to do so, you can make this a little bit bigger. Maybe circling a little bit more through the chest. Maybe rolling the shoulders as you circle through. You can even let the head move around. Really finding whatever organic movement feels good in your body right now. Beautiful. Eventually bringing yourself back towards center, slowing things down until you come to stillness. Once again, rooted on those sits bones, sitting up tall. With your next inhale, rolling your shoulders back, bring your heart forward, maybe lift your chin. And as you exhale, round your spine, draw your navel in, tuck the chin down. Inhale, shoulders back, heart lifts, little cow shape. Exhale, round back, catching the legs as you tuck the chin. 3 more here. Inhale. And exhale, feeling into your spine as you inhale. And exhale. 1 more with your breath. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, round through your back. And then inhaling back to a nice tall seat. This time arms sweep to the sky. Exhale, hands come down in front of your heart, pressing your palms together. Beautiful. Please interlace your fingers. Let your elbows open out wide. And let's start to make a wave through the arms here. So with the fingers interlaced, we're getting that nice stretch, nice sensation through the wrists. And if you want, you can play the kind of mental game here and see if you can switch directions. Take a few waves the other way. Beautiful. Please keep that interlace of your fingers. With your next inhale, push the palms forward and reach up. As you exhale, lean everything over to the left. Find a side body stretch. Keep pushing out through the palms as you inhale and lift back through center. Exhale, reach up and over to the other side. Nice heavy through your hips, light through your rib cage. Next inhale draws you up through center, push up. And exhale, float the hands down, maybe wiggle the fingers. As the arms release, take a few rolls through the shoulders, maybe a few rolls through the wrists as well if that feels nice. And let's all meet in our downward facing dog. So coming through hands and knees, stepping the feet back, sending your hips to the sky as you find your downward facing dog. Optional movement here if you'd like to pedal through your heels, maybe wiggle your hips a little side to side. Really letting your body find this shape here today. Probably first down dog of the day, first inversion of the day. So starting to get a feel for this length of your spine, this pressing through the arms, and this lightness up through the hips. Now with your next inhale, begin to shift your weight forward until your shoulders stack over your wrists. Notice if you had to readjust the hands or feet to get to your plank, hold them there. Find those 4 corners. Take an inhale. Then exhale, send your hips back without moving your hands or feet. Now inhale, shifting forward to your plank, nice strong arms. And exhale, send your hips back to downward dog. 3 more like that. Inhale, forward. And exhale back. Following the pace of your breath here, keep it going. Now the next time that you inhale, shifting forward to your plank, please pause there. As you exhale, lower your knees, bring yourself all the way down to your belly. Tops of the feet push down, hands slide back to your lower ribs. With an inhale, lift your head and chest, roll your shoulders back. Exhale, forehead floats down. Again, inhale, lift into a little baby cobra. And exhale, lower. 3 more. Inhale, lift, sending the tailbone back. Exhale, lower. 2 more with your breath. Beautiful here. Inhale, lifting the heart. Exhale, lowering down, this time pushing through the hands. Take an inhale, rise through hands and knees. Tuck your toes again to lift your hips and find your downward facing dog. Let's find a breath in here and breath out. Bending into your knees, take an inhale here. Exhale, start to walk yourself to the top of your mat, feet coming all the way up to meet your hands as you bow down into a forward fold. Release. Can you feel your feet pressing down into the mat? Feeling this length all the way from your heels up into your hips, stretching the entire back of the legs here. Let's stay for another breath in and breath out. Sliding your hands up to the backs of your thighs. Take an inhale, slowly rise all the way up to standing. Take your time. Rising up into your Tadasana, mountain pose. Beautiful. Please grab your strap. We're going to do one last little warm up for the shoulders here. So we're going to hold the strap nice and wide, wider than your shoulders, and pull the strap apart with your hands. Now as you inhale, arms come up to the sky. As you exhale, arms drop back behind you any amount. Does not have to be far. Keep that pull out on the strap, elbows are straight. With your next inhale, arms come back up. And exhale, arms come forward. Let's do that a few more times. Inhaling the arms up. Exhaling your arms back. Feel that stretch through the chest. Inhale, arms to the sky. And exhale, arms in front. Let's do that at least 3 more times here. Now you can always adjust your grip on the strap. So if you need a little bit more space to drop the arms back, hands can go wider. If it feels a little bit too wide, too loose, then hands can come closer together. Beautiful. And let's finish up with one last round here. Inhaling your arms up, exhaling back, and inhaling arms to the sky. Exhaling your arms down in front. Beautiful. You can release your strap, set it off to the side for now. We'll come back to it later. And then we're going to grab our blanket for some kind of funky sun salutations here today. So you're going to find your blanket. You're going to have it folded either in half or in quarters, okay? And then you're going to roll up your yoga mat so that you have just about 1/3 of it left at the top of your mat here. All right, so I'm gonna have this as kind of the top edge of my mat. I'm gonna draw my blanket all the way up to meet my mat. So today we're gonna be doing our sun salutations, which you should be quite familiar with by now, but we're gonna do them with our blanket under our feet, so they're sliding sun salutations, all right? So if you're not on a hardwood floor already and you can't slide, then you can use maybe like paper plates or even like flat books to slide on carpet as well. All right. Now, of course, if the sliding does not appeal to you at all, you can do your sun salutations without the sliding. So your mat is going to be set up really just to support your hands here, giving you a lot of space to slide the legs out and in. So let's do this. Let's try it out. Nice and slow to begin. Both feet on your blanket, arms by your sides in Tadasana. With an inhale, sweep your arms to the sky. As you exhale, hinge from your hips, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, hands slide to thighs or shins. Now as you exhale, bend your knees, find your hands on your mat. Push through your feet, hug in through your core. Inhale, push your feet back behind you into a plank. Nice. With your exhale, lower halfway down, find your chaturanga. You know what to do. Inhale, flip your feet on the blanket as you lift your heart. Now exhale, lift your hips, drag your blanket in as you find your downward facing dog. You got it. Take a breath in. And breath out. Now inhale to bend your knees, hug your navel in. With your exhale, drag your feet up to meet your hands. You got it, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale, rise to standing, arms sweep to the sky. And exhale, hands find heart center. Beautiful, release your arms. Take a moment to breathe here. So as you notice, when we add that slide, it's going to ask for a little bit more from your core. And we're going to start to feel that support coming from the hands, coming through the arms. So let's try it again a little bit faster this time. Mountain pose. Next breath in, sweep your arms to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, push your feet back to your plank. Inhale here. Exhale, rock forward and chaturanga, lower down. Inhale to your up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Really feel that hug at the navel. Take an inhale here. And exhale. Now inhaling to bend your knees, push down into that blanket. With your exhale, slide your feet to meet your hands, really lifting through the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach for the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Relaxing your arms, we have one more round of that sun salutation A, with or without your blanket, that's up to you. When you're ready, inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Find your own pace here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, push back into your plank. Inhale prepares you, exhale into that chaturanga. Inhale for your back bend. And exhale to your downward facing dog. Pause there for a breath in and breath out. Inhale again to prepare, bending the knees, pushing through the palms. As you exhale, slide your feet up to meet your hands. Hold it here. Inhale in your forward fold. And exhale. Now scoot your feet nice and close to your hands here, as close as you comfortably can. Knees can be bent a little or a lot. Claw down through your fingertips, push through your palms like we've been practicing this whole week. Feel this lift through your armpits. Now feel that same lift through your navel. So it's like you're trying to hug your belly away from your thighs. With all that push through the arms, with that hug through the navel, start to lift your right heel towards your right glute. And then step your right foot down, switch sides, curl your left heel to your left glute. Try that again. Right heel comes up. Keep pushing down through the arms. Look between your hands. Switch sides there, bringing the left heel in. One more time each leg. Right heel curls in. Really keep that squeeze, that lift at the belly. Left heel curls in. Beautiful. Dropping both feet down. Relaxing your arms. Maybe even turn your palms up. Let yourself hang heavy. Well done. Take a full breath in. And complete breath out. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale, root to rise, reaching for the sky. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. Beautiful. Relax your arms. Let's reset our mat here. So moving your blanket once again off to the side. Once again, unfurling your mat. Hopefully you had a bit of an adventure with those sliding sun salutations. Always fun to switch things up every once in a while. Awesome. So clearing your mat, standing back at the top edge of your mat, find your Tadasana. Take an inhale, sweep your arms to the sky. As you exhale, bend your knees, sit your hips back, find your chair pose here. Now arms can really do whatever they want, whatever variation you choose for today. Let's bring a little bit more energy down into the legs and into the core. So as you hug your navel in, your hips are moving back and you're actively pushing into the floor. So we're not just kind of sitting here in our chair, but we're really actively pushing down, sending energy back. Chest stays lifted through all of this as we take another inhale. Now as you exhale, maybe you can sit a little bit lower. Nice, take another inhale here. This time exhale sits you all the way down, coming all the way to your booty. You got this. Tailbone drops, feet lift. You're in your boat pose. Oh yeah, take an inhale here. As you exhale, reach through the legs, lower the upper body. Inhale, scoop and lift back up through boat. Exhale down to your low boat. Use that core. Inhale, scoop and lift. Exhale, halfway lower. 2 more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. You got this last one. Inhale. And exhale. Nice. Inhale up to your boat. Exhale, drop your feet. Hands come back behind. And let's windshield wiper the knees side to side. Beautiful. So keeping your feet nice and wide apart here. Lots of space to move through the hips. So we're really trying to wake up, warm up the body here today before we come into that L stand. As much as we can do to get things activated, get things prepped, it's really going to help us as we come into that inversion. So once you're ready, you've found your breath. Let's bring the legs back to stillness. Crossing at your shins, rock over onto hands and knees. And let's step it back into our downward facing dog. Taking a moment to make your way there, feeling into your foundations, rooting through your hands and feet. Let's take another breath in and breath out. Awesome. Next inhale sweeps your right leg back, 3-legged dog. Exhale forward, knee to nose, lift the navel. Again, inhale sweeps you back to 3-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. One more like that. Inhale, really reach back through the right foot. Exhale, knee to nose. This time stepping that right foot in between your hands. Planting down through your back heel. Maybe your blocks come in to help lift the earth up to you. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, bow over your right leg for pyramid pose. Staying for just a few breaths here to really feel that stretch through the back of the right leg. Finding that smooth, steady breath, just like you cultivated at the beginning of practice here. And let's take another breath in our pyramid. And breath out. With your inhale, re-bending your front knee, walking that left foot back until you can really plant through the ball of your foot. Setting up for our high crescent lunge, push through the feet, hug through your hips, and take an inhale to rise all the way up. Now you get to choose if you'd like to bend into that back knee a little or maybe a lot. You might even prefer today to drop it all the way down to the mat. That's up to you. Wherever you are, can you feel the power in this pose? Really pushing through the balls of the feet, hugging the feet together, hugging the hips in, giving you this strong base so that you can really lift up through your spine. Oh yeah, take another inhale here. As you exhale, hands come through heart center as you take a twist, left elbow to right thigh. Hugging your shoulder blades together on your back, drawing that right side chest open as you breathe into this twist. Notice nothing has changed through the legs. We have that same activation, that same strength keeping you upright here. Let's take another inhale. As you exhale, slowly unwind that twist, come back through your lunge. Now inhale, start to take your chest forward, start to sweep your arms back. As you exhale, launch onto that right leg, lifting your left leg any amount, warrior three. Great place for your blocks if you'd like to bring them down in front of you, give you a little extra support so you can really focus on lengthening through the legs. If you'd like, arms can stay back behind you, maybe hands come to heart. Whatever feels best for you in this pose today. Keep this length here, pushing through your heels. Take another inhale. As you exhale, squeeze everything together. Start to stand up tall, bringing that left knee to your chest. Nice. Maybe hands come to hug the knee if that feels good. Take an inhale, stand tall. With your exhale, turn your chest to the left, open into a twist. You got this. Keep anchoring through that standing foot. Really push down to lift up. And then maybe the left arm stretches back, helping to open the chest. Final piece here if you want it. Reaching for the outer edge of that left foot, kicking out through your left heel and lengthening through the left leg. Nice. Wherever you are, keep breathing. Let's take another inhale here. As you exhale, slowly unwind that twist, coming out the same way you came in, dropping your left foot next to your right, and finding your mountain pose. Nice. Shake it out a little bit if that feels good. Releasing all that effort so we can have a clean slate as we come to the other side. Nice. When you're ready, find that Tadasana. Take a breath in. Sigh it out. Inhale, arms sweep to the sky. Exhale, come down to your chair pose. You got this. Take an inhale here. Exhale, sit a little bit lower. Inhale one more time in your chair. Exhale all the way down into your boat. You know what to do. Inhale, lift the feet to your boat pose. Exhale, lower halfway. Just the once this time as you inhale, come back up. Exhale, cross your shins, roll over into your downward facing dog. As you arrive, take a breath in and breath out. Inhaling to sweep your left leg back, three-legged dog. Exhale, shift forward, knee to nose, pushing through the palms. Then inhale, sweep it back, length through that left leg. Exhale, knee to nose. One more like that. Inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, knee to nose, this time stepping your left foot in between your hands. Back heel steps in just enough to ground through that right foot. Finding your hands framing that left foot. Take an inhale, little halfway lift action. Exhale, fold forward. Beautiful, nice gentle release over that left leg. Keeping the left knee soft, maybe even bent quite a bit here today. As you breathe, you're imagining your breath moving not only through the chest, through the belly, but also down through your hips, through the back of that left leg. Creating a little bit more space, a little bit more room for you to play with. And let's take another inhale here. And exhale. As you inhale, start to rebend your left knee. Walk that right foot back to set yourself up for your lunge. Push down, hug in, and with an inhale, rise up. You know you have options with that back leg if you'd like to bend the knee. Whatever helps you to really square off your hips and find that strength through your center. Awesome. Now, with all this length that we're given from the support of the lower body, let's take an inhale. As you exhale, hands come through heart center. Take your twist, right elbow to left thigh. Now, can you feel that left thigh hugging back and in as your right hip comes in to meet the left? Everything always drawing towards center to give us that balance, to give us that support. Beautiful. Now let's take another inhale in our twist. As you exhale, slowly unwind, coming back through center. Inhale, leaning your chest forward, sweeping your arms back. Exhale, launch onto that left leg, lifting the right leg any amount. Kick back into your warrior three. Now, once again, if you'd like to use a block or two underneath your hands, that can be really helpful to get you some balance while you focus on pushing through the legs. All the while, hips and shoulders are square. Everything is long and strong. Good. Find that variation of the pose that works best for you today. And then, of course, find your breath. We have one more inhale here. Now as you exhale, squeeze everything together as you start to stand. Drawing that right knee with you, bring it up to your chest. Maybe hands catch onto the knee. Beautiful. Push through the left foot. Hug in and up through the left hip. Take an inhale here. Exhale, slowly move into your twist, turning your chest towards your right knee. Now navel stays hugging in, letting this twist come from the rib cage, the upper back. Option to keep that right knee bent or reach for the outer edge of your foot, kick your heel forward, and extend that right leg in your twist. Beautiful. Wherever you are, let yourself wobble, shake if that's what you need to do. Let's take another inhale. As you exhale, slowly unwind. Come out the same way you came in. Feet planting down into your Tadasana mountain pose. Shake it out. Let it go. Really well done, everyone. All right, so now we've taken some time to wake up the body. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit warmer. Maybe you're even sweating a little bit. I know I am. But hopefully you're especially feeling this activation through the body. So the legs are turned on, the core is turned on, the arms are ready to go. So now we can move it to the wall and find that L stand. All right, so let's set ourselves up at the wall. So find a bare wall in your house that you can practice on. You can even use the back of a couch if you have that more available to you. And you're gonna slide your mat all the way up to meet your wall so that the short edge of your mat is touching the wall here. So we're gonna do a few exercises to really get us into the foundations of our L stand, and then we're gonna practice that L stand a couple times here together. So as always, we have these foundations of the postures, many of which you're familiar with by now. We've been doing all of this since day 1. Now we're here day 8, putting it all together in an inversion. So we're going to start with a downward facing dog using the wall here. This is basically going to be the reverse of our L stand. So you'll see later our L stand is hands on the mat, feet on the wall. We're going to start now with hands on the wall, feet on the mat. So when you're ready, you're gonna come in front of your wall, facing the wall. And I'm gonna show you a little bit kneeling down just so you can see me, and I'll do it standing up. But you're gonna be facing your wall and you're gonna be about tabletop position distance, okay? So it's gonna be slightly different for each of us. Then wherever your knees are in that tabletop position, that's where you're gonna plant your feet. Now, hands come on to the wall. You're gonna see if you can find your hands about in line with your shoulders here. Make sure that the hands are at least shoulder width distance apart and really push through your palms. Now you're gonna start to walk your feet back until you feel this lengthening out through the arms, lengthening out through the spine. See if you can plant your feet right underneath your hips. It might be approximate because you can't see yourself, but if you have a buddy, you can see each other here, hips over the feet, and then hips in line with the hands. So basically, we're making a long line with the upper body, pushing the hands really firmly into the wall, sending the hips back, and then pushing the feet down into the mat. Now, let's practice a few things while we're here. As we've been doing the entire practice, find those elevator doors around the core. So hips hugging in, low ribs and pubic bone together, giving you that sense of hugging and lifting at the navel. If you remember, that lift of the navel gives us lightness, especially through the hips. Now you can take a break from this pose however many times you need to. Come back into it, come out of it. I'm just going to keep going here so you can really feel into these foundations. So core is lifting, hands and feet are pressing. Now let's pay a little bit of attention to the ribs. So notice if you're letting the ribs flare out, almost like a cow pose, see if instead you can take that arching out of the spine and think about really hugging your rib cage in. So remember, everything hugs together to keep you stable, to keep you balanced. So the navel is already hugging in. You're going to do the same with the rib cage, keeping everything contained here so that you can really maintain these lines. Awesome. Take a break when you need to, walking your feet in towards your hands, maybe taking a moment to roll out the wrist, roll the shoulders. So that's really step 1. You can practice that as many times as you'd like to with your hands on the wall, your feet on the mat, to again really feel that push through the arms and legs, and that lifting through the core, that core sitting through the ribs, all right? So we're really trying to kind of streamline the body here, get everything into a really compact line so that we're not kind of moving all over the place once we start to invert, but we have this practice of hugging in, all right? So this is all about building confidence. Today you might just start with that down dog at the wall like we just did. Beautiful. If you'd like to add the next piece of the puzzle, we're going to try that warrior 3 that we just did on our mats at the wall. This is going to help us get a sense of what it feels like to have your foot pushing against the wall, which we'll be doing in our L stand. So when you're ready, you're going to be facing away from the wall for this one. And again, you might need a little bit of adjustment as we get into this pose because you might have really long legs. So let's start with that left leg. We're gonna push it back into the wall. Now notice already my knee is super bent, my hip has to open to keep me here. So I'm gonna walk that right foot forward and then send the left foot back again, see if I can find the wall. So that right foot is gonna be just about under your right hip. That left hip is in line with your right. So everything is squaring off. You're pushing down through the right foot, you're pushing back through the left, and you guessed it, you're hugging in through the navel, feeling that lift, drawing the rib cage together. Now hug the hips in, feel that strength of the legs. If you need blocks under the hands, beautiful place to be here. Awesome, hold that for as long as you can with a nice smooth steady breath. And then when you're ready to come out, soften the knees, step the feet together and release. Awesome. Might feel good to move through that standing leg a little bit after that. And then when you're ready, we're gonna switch sides. So same thing, other side, kicking this time the right foot back into the wall, seeing if you can get those nice lines, everything kind of in a nice long stretching shape with the feet really pushing to give you some power. So again, if you can't really see yourself, you can't really tell if the lines are perfectly aligned with one another here, but see if you can feel just what it feels like to have the hips squared off, to have that navel hugging in, and then pushing back through those feet. So feel that contact of the right foot with the wall. Feel that push, kind of get accustomed to that. And then feel that same push down through the left leg just to keep building strength there. When you need to, come on down, take a break. Maybe do that a couple more times. Again, building on these foundations, building these strengths until you're ready for that L stand. All right, well, now it's time. Let's move towards that L stand now. So please grab your strap. And if you haven't already, place your loop into your strap. So if you remember from Chaturanga Day, when we had our strap around our upper arms, we're gonna do that same thing here today. So you want your strap at a distance where if you pull the arms out, you're not gonna be able to bring your hands wider than your shoulders. The point of the strap here today is to keep your hands, your shoulders into one long line connected by the arm, okay? So you can bring the arms out, kind of pull side to side a little bit, see how that feels. Tighten or loosen as needed. And then I'm gonna show you our L stand, and then I'm gonna give you the opportunity to try it while I explain a few more of our foundations of the pose here, okay? So as I mentioned, for our L stand, hands are down, feet are on the wall. We already have kind of a sense of what this is gonna feel like for the body, but once we start to invert, things can get a little bit hairy, right? Kind of psychologically, we're like, this is not normal. I'm used to my head being over my feet, not the other way around. So this is a really great way to practice that sensation without needing to go all the way into that handstand. So we're gonna start with the strap around the upper arms, and we're gonna find our tabletop position at the wall. So my heels are on the wall, my toes are at the base of the wall. Now I'm clawing through the fingertips, my usual foundations through the hands, through the arms. Then I'm gonna take this into my downward facing dog. So it's gonna be a slightly shorter down dog than you might be used to, and already you're in an inversion. So you might stay here for today. If you wanna take it farther, really using your core, keeping the knees bent, start to walk your feet up the wall, bringing your feet about in line with your hips, and then pushing through the legs, start to straighten through the knees. So getting that shape of an L, starting to stack the body, and then when you're ready to come down, all you need to do is step down. Beautiful. So that's an idea of our L stand there. You can start to try it out as you feel ready to do so. Now, if you're not ready for that full L stand today, no problem. You don't have to. You have other options to play with. You have that down dog we did before. You have that warrior 3. And you can even practice just that downward dog at the wall. Really great place to begin. So our inversions are whenever our heart is above our head, which I mentioned can kind of freak us out a little bit as we start to come into them, because it's just not how we're used to going through the world, right? We're used to the head being over the heart. So as you start to come into this practice, the number one thing is trusting yourself and listening to your body, right? If you don't want to go farther today, if you feel that resistance, you don't have to push it. If you are feeling like you want to go for that L stand today, you already know your foundations of the hands, right? Clawing through the fingers, pushing through the base of the fingers, and thinking about lifting up through the palm, through the wrist, right? You've got that. You've had that since day one, checked off. Then this time in our arm balance, the arms are actually straight, which is of course different than what we've done every other day this week, where we've had that chaturanga arm. So with the arms straight, it's more like our downward facing dog. So you feel the upper arm still rotating in towards the ears, but now you've got a little bit more of that push through the hands, that lift through the armpits to really hug those shoulders into those sockets. So again, if you just want to practice that down dog at the wall, you're already going to feel that. So lifting those hips, pushing your heels into the wall. You have that clawing through the fingertips, pushing through the hands. Feel that lift up through the armpits, giving you length through the arms. And then hug your upper arms in towards your ears. Notice if you let the shoulder blades come together, you're going to lose that support through the arms. If you really push through the arms and let the shoulder blades come apart, you're going to feel a lot more stability there. So in that down dog, you have that practice of the hands, of the arms. You can also start to really feel again into the core and that hugging the ribs together. Now, once you start to walk your feet up the wall, again, I encourage you to walk your feet up with your knees bent. And then once your feet are about in line with your hips, you can start to lengthen through your legs. So for some of us, the full sole of the foot is going to be on the wall. For others, it's just going to be the ball of your foot that's pushing into the wall. And then you're seeing if you can make this L shape where your hands are the base, your hips are stacked over your hands, and then your legs are in line with your hips. So it's quite literally the letter L kind of turned upside down. So again, maybe the feet won't exactly get in line with the hips today. That's totally fine, because of course when you come into a full handstand, your legs are going to be over top of your hips anyway. But this L stand is already a super great arm balance, a super great inversion that you can practice to build strength, build confidence, and try something new in your yoga practice. I always love using a wall in my practice, whether it's for things like this or playing around with different stretches and things like that. So hopefully you've been playing around with that L stand this whole time as I've kind of been explaining and talking at you here. If you need to, pause the video, take a rest, grab some water, do your thing. If you want, you can keep playing with that L stand. Again, using the strap is just really helpful to kind of guide your arms so that they stay in line, because sometimes our elbows want to start to move out. And when we do that, we're going to kind of lose the whole base, the whole foundation, all that stability that we've been building up, right? So keeping all that in line, keeping the core strong, and the legs are super active too, like we've been practicing this whole time. Now we are going to do that L stand one more time, this time with something to play with, a little different variation. But one more foundation of the pose that I want to go over is your gaze. So where you're looking as you do this L stand. So you'll notice when you come into your downward facing dog, usually when we're in our down dog, we're looking back towards the feet. Now in this case, if we come into our L stand and we keep the chin tucked like that, we're probably going to start to roll over, right? That's going to take our momentum away from the wall. So instead, as you start to come towards this arm balance, you're going to look between your hands. Now, some people can do these shapes where they keep the head neutral, which means that the ears are between the arms and your gaze is just straight forward. In this case, it would be at the wall. I like to look between my hands. It gives me just a better sense of kind of where the ground is, where I have support. So you can play around, see which one works for you. Just make sure you're not tucking the chin, not looking back, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate one more time with the strap. And this time I'm going to give you an option to play with, again, if you want to. Very intentional with that word option, okay? So same thing, you're going to start with your tabletop position here at the wall. So stacking your joints, getting those foundations of the hands right off the bat here. Heels are touching the wall. Find your core. As you lift your knees, lift your hips into that downward facing dog. Keep your knees bent as you start to walk your feet up the wall. Find that gaze. And then start to straighten the legs if you want. Now, if you want to play 1 foot at a time, you're going to lift your leg away from the wall. Notice if you start to get a banana back here, arching the back, pull everything in, bring it back together. And then when you're ready, step down. So I'm going to come down just so I can explain that a little bit better, but that at least gives you a visual of the shape. So from your L stand, you're taking one leg at a time, lifting it towards the sky, starting to get what it feels like to have the entire body stacked in your handstand. So again, that's just something you can play with if you want to. Really take it slow, right? Focus on the control of the movement, okay? So it's all that activation of the muscles that we've been building up throughout the practice that are gonna help you really stick that L stand. So you can practice as much as you'd like today, being really mindful of especially your shoulders and your wrists. When you need to, come down, take breaks, roll it out. And of course, remember, whatever you do here on the mat today does not define you, right? We just practice these poses for fun, to see what our bodies can do, of course, to keep us healthy, to keep us happy. But ultimately, when we're practicing poses like our arm balances, like our L stand, this is just to kind of see how we can challenge ourselves, where we can take ourselves, how we can stretch our ideas of how capable we are. All right? So please play as much as you'd like. When you're ready, we're gonna come on down, we're gonna stretch it out. When you're ready, we're all gonna meet back in a seated position. Take some time to cool things down, stretch all these parts of the body that we've really been working here today, and then enjoy, of course, a sweet Shavasana to round out our practice. So finding your nice comfy seat, we're gonna start by rolling through the hands. So spreading your fingers nice and wide, start to roll through your wrists. And then curling your fingers in towards your palm, making fists continue to roll there through the wrists. And then again, spreading the fingers wide, rotating through the wrists, curling your hands into fists. Beautiful. Do that one more time, spreading the fingers wide, and then curling into fists. Awesome. Bring that movement up into the shoulders, so relaxing the arms down, and now moving the shoulders up and back. Beautiful. Really letting your arms go a little bit noodly here. You've been doing a lot of balancing on the hands today. So giving yourself a break here, letting things start to relax. Slowing down our movement, slowing down the pace of the breath. When you're ready, settle your shoulders into stillness. Let's start to rotate through the neck here. So dropping one ear over to one shoulder. Circling the chin through center, and then moving your other ear towards the other shoulder. And do that a couple times, making these little rainbows side to side. If it feels okay for your neck, you can make a full rotation, letting the head drop back. And taking just a few moments here to feel that stretch. If you find a spot that feels particularly sticky, you can stay and breathe for a few moments. Beautiful. As you feel ready, coming back to stillness, bringing your chin back to center, back to neutral. And let's move things onto hands and knees, find our tabletop position. Now, if you'd like a little extra cushion for your knees here today, you can bring your blanket underneath your legs. As we stack the joints here, let's take an inhale to sweep the right arm open. Feel that lift of the chest, and then exhale, thread your right arm underneath your left, reaching out until your right shoulder and right ear find the floor. Now, if your right ear doesn't come all the way down to the ground, you can always use a block or a pillow and place it underneath your head for a little extra support. Awesome. Now, as you find your stretch here, starting to feel some sensation through that right shoulder, right side of the neck. Maybe you choose to walk that left arm forward, finding a little length there underneath the armpit. Now, really bringing some weight over onto that right shoulder so you can feel that stretch. And then sending your breath towards that right side of your neck, even into the jaw, the upper back, all the way through that right arm, out through the fingertips. Once again, using the tool of your breath to create some space, to facilitate this relaxation as we stretch through the muscles and tissues of the body. Let's take another inhale here. And exhale. Replanting that left palm, take an inhale to slowly rise, sweeping your right arm open. And exhale, plant your palm. Maybe take a little wiggle as you pass through center, and we'll get ready to come to the other side. Inhaling to sweep your left arm open, feel that lift, that stretch. And then exhale, thread your left arm underneath your right, reaching out through your left fingertips, settling your left shoulder down. Again, looking for that sensation through the shoulder, through the side of your neck. Perhaps walking those right fingertips forward to get a little extra stretch through that right armpit. Now notice that this side of the stretch might feel slightly different than the other side. So if you need to make some adjustments, add some props, please feel free to do so you can find that optimal stretch for you here today. We're here for about 3 more rounds of breath. Finding one more inhale here. And exhale. Planting that right palm. Take your inhale to rise up, sweep your left arm open. And exhale, bringing that left hand down, passing through your tabletop position. Wiggle it out if that feels nice. And then when you're ready, we're going to step that right foot up to the top of the mat, bringing your hands to the inside edge of your right foot. Moving towards our lizard lunge here. So if you'd like to readjust a bit, really lengthening that left leg back, opening that right hip. If there's any pinchiness for the knee today, it might feel nice to turn your toes out slightly, finding a little bit more of a diagonal there, a little bit more space to open up. Now let's take a moment to wiggle around through the hips if you haven't already done so, just to get ourselves settled into this shape. Haven't been doing too much through the hips today, so giving ourselves the chance for a little release. When you're ready, we're going to find stillness, either staying lifted on the palms, Coming down halfway, lowering onto a prop, or perhaps coming all the way down, forearms to the mat. Now, I will encourage you to go to a place that doesn't feel like it's a strain. So if it feels like a lot just to get your elbows to the ground, find yourself a prop. Give yourself that support. We're not focusing on what the pose looks like. We're not necessarily focusing on going as deep as we can go into the pose. We simply want to feel the stretch. We want to find that sensation and then really revel in it. So let yourself find that place where you feel that stretch of the hips, opening through that right hip, lengthening through that left hip flexor. And enjoy it. Let your body feel settled into this shape. Finding that place where your breath can move freely. Maybe you feel like you can even close your eyes. And let this pose work its magic for you. We have 5 more rounds of breath here. Let's take another inhale here. And exhale completely. As you inhale, slowly lift up, coming back onto the palms if you're not already there. Starting to walk that right foot a little bit closer to center as you tuck your back toes and lift your back knee. And walking your hands towards that left edge of your mat, let all 10 toes turn with you as you fold down between your legs in this nice wide fold. Finding that distance between the feet where you feel stable, you feel supported, you can really push the feet down. But at the same time, the legs are wide enough apart that you feel that really sweet stretch through the hips, through the inner thighs. Now you can stay right here with your hands resting down, maybe on your mat, maybe on a block. Or if you'd like to add a little bit of an extra stretch for the shoulders here, you have the option to sweep your arms back behind you, hugging your shoulder blades together, either bringing hands to low back or interlacing your fingers, lengthening the knuckles away from you, and letting your arms drop overhead as you fold forward. So if you have the fingers interlaced, feeling the shoulder blades hugging in, that length out through the arms, and then feel that spreading of the collarbones, that lift of the chest even as you fold. Wherever you are, we have 3 more rounds of breath here. All together, let's find one more inhale. As you exhale, gently release your arms back down if you have them lifted. With an inhale, find your halfway lift, nice flat back. And exhale, walk your hands towards the back of your mat. Turn all 10 toes, sitting up in your lunge towards the back edge of your mat, left foot forward. So as you find that lizard shape, once again, left foot is nice and wide to open through the hip. Right leg is lengthening back. Let's start with a little wiggle action here to move into the hips. Check out what you're working with. Once you're ready to settle into stillness, you know your options here. Option 1, lifted on the hands. Option 2, lowered halfway. Option 3, coming all the way down onto the forearms. Wherever you choose to be, know that this side might feel a little bit different than when you had your right leg forward. So feel free to experiment, play around, see what's going to feel sweetest for your body on this side. Once again, we're settled here for 5 rounds of breath. You can always readjust as needed within those 5 breaths to really enjoy this stretch. We have another inhale here and exhale. Moving slowly, lifting back up onto the hands if you're not already there. And this time, let's slide the left knee back to meet the right. Keeping the knees open wide, bringing the big toes together to touch. Slowly dropping your hips back towards your heels as you melt down towards your child's pose. Come on down, bringing your forehead towards the mat, your chest towards the floor. Really letting the weight of your body be supported by the mat underneath you. You can stay right here or add a little extra stretch for the shoulders by bringing your palms together, elbows in towards the ears. Lifting your hands towards the sky, almost like a little shark fin with the arms. And then slowly dropping your hands back behind your head as much as you'd like to feel that stretch through the triceps, the armpits, the upper back. Once again, we have 5 rounds of breath to enjoy here. Allowing yourself to slow things down. Finding some extra sweetness for the body here as we wind down our practice. Let's find one more breath in and let it out. Gently release your arms if you had that variation. With an inhale, slowly rise up through hands and knees. And as you exhale, bring yourself to a seated position on your mat. Awesome. Please grab your blocks. Make sure you have them within your reach, somewhere you can get to them easily. And then when you're ready, lower yourself all the way onto your back. Come to lay down on your mat. Oh, what a sweet release here as you lengthen your spine, feeling your body relax into the support of the earth. One leg at a time here, start to draw your knees towards your chest, wrap yourself in a nice big hug. Maybe even taking a little rock side to side if that feels like a nice massage for your low back. And let's keep the legs together. Let the arms spread open wide. Taking an inhale to prepare for your twist. And as you exhale, let your knees drop over towards the right side of your mat. Finding that twist through your spine as you stack your hips open through the chest. And first few rounds of breath here are yours to readjust, add props as needed to make this shape feel really supportive for you. So maybe since you have your blocks right there, you can grab one, place it in between the knees, perhaps between your legs and the floor. Just giving yourself that little extra something to help square off the hips and get comfortable here. Once you've settled into stillness, let's hang out for about 5 more rounds of breath. Let's enjoy one more inhale here. And exhale. Gently hugging navel to spine at the bottom of that exhale. Using that core support to help you roll back through center, back onto your back, hugging your knees in towards your chest. Pausing here in center for as long as you'd like. And when you're ready, arms will spread out wide once again, taking an inhale here. With your exhale, dropping your legs to the left side of your mat and setting up your twist on this side. Again, first few moments here, yours to readjust, add props, get yourself comfy, cozy. Feeling that you can really settle into this shape. And inviting softness into your entire body. Feeling that you are held here by the earth. You're safe to relax through your fingers and toes, your jaw and your forehead, your hips and your low belly. This is your time to relax. Now we have about 3 more rounds of breath on this side. All together we have one more inhale here. And exhale. Finding that core connection, using it to help you roll back to center, coming back to your back, hugging your knees in one more time. And then one foot at a time, bringing the soles of your feet onto the floor and grabbing your blocks. Setting up into our reclined butterfly here. So walking the soles of your feet together, let your knees open out wide, sliding your blocks underneath your thighs. So you get to choose how tall or how low you want your blocks to be to really support your legs here. Finding this shape where there's no forcing the legs down, but instead we're really letting gravity take hold, opening the hips, dropping the knees towards the floor. Your pelvis is neutral. Your abdominals are relaxed. And your arms are resting wherever they feel most natural. And we'll stay here together for about 10 more rounds of breath. Knowing that you're always free to come out of this shape a little bit sooner or stay for a little bit longer if you'd like. Let's take one more inhale here. And exhale completely. Moving slowly, bring your hands to your legs and gently press your thighs towards one another, planting the soles of your feet once again. And from here, stretching your legs out long on your mat, resting your arms by your sides, palms facing up, settling into your Shavasana, your final resting pose for today. Keeping your body relaxed, your breath smooth and steady. Really taking this time to soak in everything you've done on your mat today. This is your time to celebrate you. And this is where I'll leave you for today, to rest for as long as you'd like. I thank you so much for joining me in this practice. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste. Be well.